HNT Hub here, just giving you a quick rundown of what type of outdoor enclosure I use here in my system or deployment. This is an aluminum rated IP65 outdoor enclosure. Might not want aluminum, it's just what I chose. It was a good price point and it's sturdy. Another great aspect of it is I love the design. I guess I love the size more or less. Is it fits a Bobcat, which is what I have deployed currently, and then also will fit generally pretty much every other miner from what I've seen. It might have to, I'm not sure about the link style. I don't know about the dimensions on those, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to fit an indoor Nebra in here very shortly as soon as it arrives on my doorstop. Courtesy of Fairspot. Fairspot is a hosting service that if your area is building out coverage for the Helium network, you can actually attain a free hotspot, and then after 600 days of hosting, the hotspot is considered yours. So a really cool feature of theirs, as they do grant you ownership of said device after so many days of hosting. Not only that, but they offer the most when it comes to reward percentages. They give you 70% every Friday. So the term fair really goes in the name. Just wanted to give a shout out to Roarman over there at Fairspot. Thanks for approving the application, buddy. Gonna be excited to build out the network here where I am. So just going over the few things. This is generally what would be with any outdoor enclosure. I'm just showing you what mine has, but a typical outdoor enclosure will have the same objects or the same connections, the same interface, whatever you want to call it. They're pretty much all bare to bones the same, besides how they're built, the size, and a few maybe, what actual hardware goes into it, such as U-bolts and other mounting brackets. So just pointing out, you can't really see them here, but these are, I need to actually find out the right diameter. These holes fit the general Ethernet gland or connection that you'd want to use, which looks something like this. Unscrews, and it has a kind of squeezable. This tightens down over your Ethernet. And yes, you can fit a pre-made Ethernet right through. I'm trying to get it off. Anyways, this is the side that would come through your housing. The Ethernet's going in through here. Seal it up all nice and tight. Or you could put this in first as well. Essentially, that's just going to go right in there. Then you thread over the other waterproof connection. Now, I would highly recommend some type of silicone or sealant. Just something super light, easy, something that you could clean away if you need to move that connection specifically. Highly recommended, though, that you seal all your connections in some shape or manner. Interesting, this one came with 2. I don't think my last one came with 2. Well, that's kind of cool. Okay, there's another one. Same thing, so you could have 2 different ports. And now you don't have to use it for Ethernet. You could use something like a power cord, like I do plan on putting some type of simple solar USB fan over the cover to act as a heat shield. And I'm also going to be running that essentially USB, or I'm thinking about doing it actually PoE and invert the power cord. So I'd be running the solar power, or the panel would be on the front and then it'd be coming inside. Super simple, no huge battery or anything, just one of those cheapo greenhouse solar panel fan dealios to get a fan up in the system. Hopefully that'll kind of take away some of the heat that this enclosure is creating specifically. I was kind of weary of the aluminum, but it's actually not bad. And I'm thinking a little bit of movement inside the enclosure will be very sufficient for any type of extreme heat. Everything seems to be fine as of now, but I imagine in the in the deeper summer days, some months, it could get pretty bad. Only other things in here are a few other bolts just to connect what I'm going to show you next, and then also just these little caps that you would also have to these caps that you'd also have to seal with some type of silicone or something of that matter, and they just pop right in to fully seal any type of hole that needs to be closed, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 specifically on this one. Usually they'll have one on the top as well. I guess this would be considered the top. I've used it either which way, but I do plan on drilling holes in all my enclosures that I have of this, so I can actually extend the antenna and possibly even mount my lightning arrestor inside if I have enough room. I'm thinking with the Kerlink I'm gonna do that one, because I'll have enough space in here to actually mount something like a lightning arrestor just directly in the box to keep it away from weather. Last thing I wanted to go over, what I'm pretty sure these bolts are for specifically. I do have some more extra ones here as well, but this backplate was so important for specifically the Bobcat deployment, at least. Just houses right to the back, you know, and you bolt it in, and then actually mounting the Bobcat kind of wall mount right onto this is so convenient, because then, especially if you're up high, then you'd have your, you know, specifically up on the roof, if I'm removing a hotspot, putting it back in, it can get a little frustrating or tedious, you know, if you're on the edge or by the edge of a roof where, hey, possibly that thing could fall out when you're removing the cables. So, you know, securing it inside the enclosure is pretty important in my opinion, unless you have no worries, you know, it's within hand's reach and you can have easy access to it. Just ran over a few of the hardware aspects, and like I showed you earlier, this is a simple mounting system. These plates actually go onto the back of it, such as here, and then those U-bolts would go through those plates, and these would be specifically for the pole aspect. It has like rigid kind of notched edges so that you can secure it around some type of pole or mast. Now, what did not come with this system, and what can be attained very easily from anywhere, Amazon actually has very large versions of these that can be reused, but it's your simple desiccant pack. So it comes in your like shoes, sometimes electronics, random stuff. Always says do not eat, obviously, and don't eat it, folks. It doesn't taste good. No, I'm just kidding, I've never tried it. But there's just I think these are the style that come in like shoes, usually this small size. I think this was in some type of electronic that I got, a larger size. There's all different shapes and sizes that you can find. It all should say silica gel or desiccant on it. Highly recommend keeping at least, you know, one, well, depending on the size, you know, it's just at least one isn't going to hurt in there. They do have larger ones, as I mentioned, that could essentially fit or take up all the dead space inside this enclosure, which I thought was kind of neat. And then those are actually the re-bakeable ones, so you could actually reuse it if it ever receives any type of moisture. So yeah, those are really great recommendation that one of the helium team actually was insistent on, as where he is, there's a ton of humidity, and where I am as well, tons of humidity. That's actually another pointer I wanted to make. I don't have specific ventilation on this enclosure due to humidity in my area. I'm not okay with the idea of constant humidity going in and out of the enclosure, thus the hotspot itself, even with a desiccant pack. That seems extremely risky to me. So like I said earlier, I'm just going to be installing some type of air movement fan. It's not going to be venting it out, but it will be moving the air, so that hopefully will subside any type of extreme heat. And like I said, this is not what everyone is going to get. This is not what you should get maybe. This is just what I got. I found it for a good price point. Data-alliance.net, I believe. They sell a bunch of weird wireless gear. They're pretty good out there in the Arizona area, I think. So give them a shop if you're close to that area. You can get some quick shipping. Anyways, this is just what I have in store for my current deployments. H&T signing out. Happy heliuming!